Hi everyone, welcome to another Table Talk. So today I just wanted to summarize my initial impressions, lessons learned of doing some bench and field testing on 5-inch 3-bladed prop, quad prop in my park jets in both prop and slot and a tail mount park jet. If you follow my YouTube channel, you may have already seen the flying videos that I did testing this prop specifically, the Dell Prop Cyclone 5050 on both 3S and 4S. If not, I'll have those videos linked down below. So I'll talk a little bit more about the props in a bit. I had these laying around, and one of the reasons that I wanted to start experimenting some more is I decided to live a little bit dangerously after watching a video I watched by Engineer X. He did some testing on a new motor by Brother Hobby. It's the Brother Hobby Speed Shield 2207.5 3400 kV, so it should be just an absolute beast of a motor. I'll have his video linked down below, and towards the end you can see his spreadsheet. But essentially on 3S, using this King Kong 6040, he was getting over 1600 grams of thrust, which is about 400 grams more than I've ever seen with any of my 2306 motors on 3S using 6x4 APC gas prop. And on one of the props on 4S, he was over 1900 grams of thrust, which is well over 100 grams more than what I've ever seen on any of my motors. Obviously those have very, very high amp draw associated with them, so I'm hoping that if with these props and maybe even some 2-blade 6-inch props and some other props I'll talk about towards the end, I'll be able to find a combination that I can use that motor in my 100-mile-an-hour park jet project without needing to use a gigantic speed controller to handle the amp draw. But anyway, so getting back to the 3-bladed props. So if you, I'll link my motor test spreadsheet down below, and you can go along the bottom. Each motor has its own spreadsheet or its own page, and I tested this RC InPower GTS 2306 version 2 2750, big mouthful for a small motor. But if you find the page of this motor, you'll be able to see the specific numbers. I'm not going to rattle those all off. I tested 3 props. This is the Dell Prop Cyclone 5045. You can see it actually has a fairly flat blade. Quite an efficient prop, but not anywhere near as much thrust as this 5050. Now if you notice on this 5050 right here, there's quite a bit of an aggressive dip close to the hub. So maybe in addition to the slight bit more pitch and the blade shape, maybe that explains why this is a bit more powerful prop. This 5051 actually kind of scared me. You can see the blade is quite a bit narrower here. I was very disappointed in the 3S results, and then when I started to test it on 4S, I just advanced the throttle, and as soon as it hit full throttle, the prop was just making one horrendous racket, and I was actually scared the prop was going to come apart. So I don't think I'll risk putting that in a plane. Okay, so how did I feel that it worked overall? Well, if you've watched the flight videos already, in the prop and slot, I'll talk about first. I felt it was good performance. There's about a 50 on 3S. There's about a 50-gram difference. I felt that it didn't really perform quite as well as the numbers on the bench would expect on 3S. The response was quite a bit softer. Acceleration was softer. And I didn't feel like the prop really got wound out to its maximum potential. I suspect that maybe, I don't know why, but maybe in that configuration in a prop and slot, it felt like there was a bit more drag, and perhaps also because you've got plane in behind the prop, you've got more dirty air causing turbulence and drag. But it was good. If I had to use it again, I certainly would. But if I'm looking for the performance that I'm looking for on 3S with that motor, I would use the 6x4 APC gas. On 4S, on both the planes, there's a 300 gram difference between this prop and this prop, and it was noticeable on both planes. It's still pretty fast, but you know, noticeably slower. So you know, if I really want blinding speed, especially in my prop and slot planes, I'll continue to go with the 6x3 EMP prop. Yeah, so there we go. That's pretty much my impressions. My ears must have been playing tricks with me, because I did do a test. I have a sound meter app on my phone, my cell phone. I set it on a fence post and flew several high-speed passes within about 10 to 15 feet of the phone. And there's only about a 2 decibel difference with this Cyclone 5050 in quieter. I guess it must be the pitch or the frequency, and the fact that, you know, my 57-year-old ears are pretty much deadened by too much heavy metal rock music over my life. But yeah, it wasn't as quiet as I anticipated it when I actually measured it. But you know, very cool sound. It actually sounds, you know, more like an EDF, kind of a high-pitched whine more than what, you know, I get out of the 6x4 EPC gas. Okay, so going to the tail mount, that's where this prop really shone in comparison. You know, essentially the two motors are the same. I'm running the GEP RC 2750 in the F18, and in the SU30 version 4 I'm running the RC InPower. Although the numbers on the spreadsheet are different, I find at the field anyway, they're pretty much interchangeable motors from what I've seen thus far. So, you know, not having any obstruction to the thrust behind the prop, much better performance, or you know, much closer performance on 3S anyway to the 6x4 APC gas. One of the things I was looking for was reduced torque roll. You know, a tail mount park jet tends to have a bit more torque roll than a prop and slot. Definitely the torque roll is reduced. It's still there, but it's reduced in strength, and it's also a bit softer, so it sort of, you know, it sort of gently starts to bank over, giving me more time to correct it and fly away than it does on the two-bladed prop. So definitely a win there. Really good performance. Again, considerably quieter. It's about 10 decibels. This is about 10 decibels quieter on 3S than the 6x4 APC gas. I didn't measure it on 4S, but again, it's much quieter. So moving forward, because of the benefit of reduced torque roll and just really good performance on my tail mount, I'm going to be tail mount planes. I'm going to be building an RC or an FRC Foamies F22 Raptor. I think I will stick with a 3-blade, 5-inch 3-blade prop, unless I find something else that works even better and continues to give me the same performance. So yeah, so definitely tail mount, better performance on tail mount on 3S, and you know, 4S I didn't see the speed as I did with the 6x3 EMP, but it's very much quieter. This thing on this prop on 4S on my tail mount, it is just crazy noisy. Okay, so based on some help, some input that I've received from some of my loyal YouTube followers, and I much appreciate it, I've ordered up some other props to try and experiment with my Speed Shield, Brother Hobby Speed Shield motor. I've ordered some Gemfan 6042s to see how they compare with the 6x4 APC gas and the King Kong 6040 prop. I've also ordered some Dull Prop Cyclone 5050s, but in 2-blade, see how those work out. And I've ordered some Gemfan Flash 5152, which will be a completely new prop to me in both 2 and 3-blade. So depending on the numbers, if I see better results with the 5152 being slightly longer, slightly higher pitch, then I may switch over to that for my tail mount. But that's why I test. So hopefully I'll be able to find a combination where I'm still going to get some serious thrust, but not have to use one of these bigger, heavier speed controllers. This is the Turnigy Plush 60 amp and the Turnigy AE 65 amp. These both weigh about 30 grams more than this Hobbywing Platinum Pro. Now I've comfortably flown planes that had tested over 60 amps on the bench. This actually has a burst rating of 60 amps. Going to the field, it's going to be quite a bit less than that. And so I'm if I can still keep in the ballpark of 60 to 65 amps, maybe I'll continue to fly with this at the field. If I absolutely have to, I may use this one. This one goes up to 80 amps in burst, but it doesn't have quite as many settings to be able to really squeeze the performance out of the motor. This one, similar to the Turnigy AE45 that I've used, has quite a few more settings to optimize the performance of the motor. So, but it's got 10 amps less burst. So we'll see what happens there. So yeah, so there we go. Again, I'm also going to probably bench test. This is the Sunny Sky Edge 2305 2800. Again, a real beast of a motor. I may also bench test this the next time around, and when all those other props arrive. If you fly quads, you have experience with quad props, 5-inch quad props in both 2-blade and 3-blade. Please, I encourage you, leave your comments down below, and if you can, please leave a link to where you got the prop so I can have a look at it and see if it's going to be something that I might want to experiment. Much appreciated. This is kind of unknown territory for me, so I'm experimenting. So, if I can kind of narrow it down quicker without having to buy a huge selection of props and find out, similar to this one, that it's not really going to work out for me, that would be much appreciated. So, yeah, lots of comments, lots of links down below. Please encourage you to check those out. Thanks very much for watching. Blue skies, calm winds to everyone. Park Jet Noise, the other sound of freedom, baby. Take care.